Hello, WeatherTrack listeners. This is Ben Coffey, the training manager for WeatherTrack, coming to you today to talk about the LTE Test Kit Instructions with my friend and the engineering support expert, Jonathan Heredia.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for participating in today's LTE Test Kit Instructions.
Today, we'll be talking about the LTE Test Kit, and this training is designed to supplement the LTE Test Kit Instructions, not replace them. So we hope that you're watching this video with the LTE Test Kit Instructions in hand. Today, we'll be discussing the Wilson Pro LTE Test Signal Kit, which is the way that we measure the on-site cellular signal and its strength and quality, as well as identify the strongest band and the best carriers on site, and the location of the nearest cell tower so that we can optimize the communication for the WeatherTrack controllers.
This tool allows us to do a pre-evaluation before we install a controller. This tool also allows us to troubleshoot existing controllers if they've been affected by network issues once installed.
First, we want to talk about what you'll see when you unpack the test kit. Inside the box, you'll see the network scanner, the power supply and charger cable, as well as any accessories and cables that might be necessary. So the first thing you'll do to set up the network scanner is screw the antenna into the network scanner.
In this slide, we could see how easily it is to power on the scanner by pressing the button. Green indicates power, red indicates charging, blue, slow, it's scanning, fast, rapid blue indicates that you are in the scan in live mode. And if you press the button down for 3 seconds, it will power down the device.
In addition, you'll need to download the CellLink app, which will be the digital interface for all testings.
Which will be an interface, Bluetooth interface between the scanner and the app so we could obtain a signal scan.
So you need to go to the App Store or Google Play Store and download the CellLink app to your smart device.
This is a free account.
In addition, it might be necessary to bring the type of antenna you want to test while you're on site. So you might need to bring one of the HydroPoint antenna options like a Yagi, Omni, or Pancake antenna to test the specific kind of antenna that you want to run on site.
The kit will come with an adapter cable. One end will be fitted with an SMA female threaded end. The other end will be a N-type male end. This will allow us to connect various types of antennas when on site. When performing a network scan with the scanner, our recommendation is to have in conjunction some antennas throughout the HydroPoint family. These will be used to see which one of these antennas best performs so that we can install these to optimize the network coverage.
Once you have the proper antenna connected to your scanner and the scanner connected to your smart device, then you're ready to run the scan. The first thing you'll want to do is connect to the meter.
You'll need to pair the scanner with your phone app.
And next, you want to apply the filters. This is a very important part of the process. Only certain carriers and bands are available through the WeatherTrack technology. So we want to test only the compatible frequencies to know which frequency the WeatherTrack can communicate on. So once you've selected the correct filters, we're ready to proceed with the scan, which you'll do by hitting the Start Scan button on the app.
Once you press the Start Scan button, you will be notified that it could take up to a few minutes for it to pull the scan. Once your blue light is flashing slowly, you will know that the scanner is performing its scan.
Once we've completed the scan, we'll see every cellular signal that the scanner picked up in that location, as well as the available carrier and band. This will give us all the information to assess which is the best band for us to use for WeatherTrack communication.
Keep in mind that this tool will also allow us to perform what is known as a live mode scan. This live mode scan will be utilized if we are working with a directional antenna, such as a Yagi style antenna. This is an awesome tool because we will be able to quickly tune the antenna to see where we need to permanently install it to optimize the signal.
Once you're satisfied with the results of the test, the next step is saving those results so that you can refer back to them once you're done.
These results will be saved in an Excel format, which will be useful if we need to share these results with support so that we can understand which bands are best available if we don't yet know how to understand this information.
Saving these results, we'll start with setting up a new project and collecting the information for the project. and then saving the scan to that project and saving the details of that individual scan. This way, we can do multiple scans on a single site and compare the results.
Every other scan that you pull for that site, you could save under the same project name. This project name will have various details that will help us determine where these scans were obtained from, and more importantly, where the scanner GPS coordinates were at the initial scan.
Once all of that is filled out, make sure to save each scan, and the RSRP and RSRQ are the most important part in making the assessment what signal is best on site. Next, we want to talk about some tips and tricks when actually using the scanner. First of all, make sure that you are staying close to the scanner. You must be at least 4 feet away from the scanner, but not more than 10 feet. So stay close, but not right next to the scanner while the test is running.
So because it's Bluetooth, right? In order for it to properly run and be paired, you have to follow those rules.
So that we're sure that the scanner will stay actively paired to your device.
Also, make sure that your Bluetooth is turned on to your phone. Otherwise, you will not be able to be paired to the scanner.
Along with your scanner, you'll get the LTE Signal Test Kit Instructions. If you look at page 10, you'll see the controller's signal specs for all of the different HydroPoint devices and controllers. Use this document to ensure you're testing the compatible signals for the controller that you have on site.
These specifications will allow you to understand what bands we utilize from which carrier, as well as the type of antenna and its frequency capabilities.
It's important that the scanner not be moved while the test is running. Remember, we are testing the cellular strength in that very specific location, so the scanner must remain still while the test is running.
Please ensure that your antenna is stationary while performing a scan. Any slight move could alter the scan. If you need to alter or add to existing projects, it is a quite simple process. This is why it's important that all projects should be named when saved.
If you need to revisit, add to, or just look at an existing project, you can go into the Projects menu, select your project, and look at all of the tests you've already performed or add more tests into this project. Once all the projects are done, you can export the results or send an Excel spreadsheet to any email.
Keep in mind that saving project names is very important. Having as much details for these projects is equally important. The reason we want to add as much detail to projects when we save them is because through this projects portal, we will be able to export these files. We will also be able to edit these files. And more importantly, if we have more controllers for a site that we are trying to add to this project, we will be able to add more controllers and more scans to this project.
Once the scan is done, you will have all of the information you need to assess the best signal on site. So we'll take the scan of the specific antenna and compare those results to some baseline measurements to see which communication solution we want to employ on site. In addition to the signal strength, the test will also give you a map of the nearest published cellular tower. So if you're using a Yanni directional antenna and you have to point it directly at the nearest cell phone tower, you have a map that shows you the direction to point the antenna.
These tower locations will only be visible if it is publicly available, as some of these may not be published.
And the most important ingredient in the test is being able to read that test and determine what is good strength and good quality. To do this, we take the results of the LTE Test Kit on your display and compare them to these baseline strength and quality readings.
Once the scanner has given us the results for the network, we can use this chart to compare our RSRP, which represents the received signal, received power. We want to be in the range of anything greater than 80 decibels or dBm. And for the RSRQ, or received signal, received quality, we want to be anything greater than minus 10 dB. This will be where we are in the most optimal range for network communication. Any RSRP value that exceeds minus 100 dBm will not be a reliable connection. Any RSRQ value that exceeds minus 20 dB will also not be a good network signal.
So in your literature, make sure that you are checking the compatible bands. For more information, check out this article on the HydroPoint knowledge base called Cellular Antennas and Frequencies. Some tips and tricks for getting the best results from your site survey. One of the things we think about when troubleshooting a cellular connection is the location of the antenna. Sometimes raising the antenna up above any obstacles is the best way of ensuring connection. So it might be valuable to bring a telescoping pole to test what the signal strength is a few feet off the ground.
This will allow us to achieve line of sight in the event that we have obstructions such as trees, bushes, or rooftops. Also, please avoid any electrical interference such as high voltage electrical boxes or AC units.
It's also important to remember that when testing the LTE signal, that it is a very localized reading. So just moving that antenna a few feet in any direction could help us find a different and better signal.
It is also recommended that you do several spot tests, as moving the antenna could give you greater results.
It's also important to mark the exact coordinates of every test so you have the right information to duplicate an antenna location after the test is done.
Ensure that the coordinates are saved and named once you obtain the results. Here we will teach you how to connect an antenna to a modem. In this example, we have an omni antenna, which is a non-directional antenna. You can see here on the left that we have the omni antenna, which will then be connected to our low loss cable, which is classified as an LMR 400. In the middle section, we will see that using the LMR 400, we can then achieve that connection to the controller enclosure using a bulkhead adapter. That bulkhead adapter will then also be able to be connected to our SMB adapter, which will allow us to connect to the back of the panel. In the last example, you will see the N-type to SMB adapter connected to an SMA to an SMB adapter, which will allow us to connect to the modem. And this is how we connect external antennas to a modem.
Now that we've done the LTE test and compared all of the different carriers, if the signal is still inadequate, we might need to add a modem or antenna to allow the controller to connect.
As mentioned before, the scanner is a powerful tool when we are trying to find a connection solution for the site we are working with.
When using the LTE scanner to troubleshoot on-site, oftentimes we will find the signal inadequate for WeatherTrack communication. So using the results from the LTE signal test kit will tell us what the proper equipment solution is to deploy to the site to help your WeatherTrack connect. That might mean upgrading the modem, changing the antenna, or switching carriers from AT&T to Verizon. Every site is unique and has its own unique solution.
Oftentimes, we'll need to reference feed line loss. For this information, we have this matrix that will allow us to understand what our feed line loss is for the given type of cable that we are using.
Thank you for your support of the HydroPoint brand and the LTE Test Kit. If you have further questions, please feel free to reach out to our customer support team
at 1-800-362-8774 or at support@hydropoint.com. Thank you.